Hey YouTube, welcome back to Unix TCG, and today we are going to continue the biggest winners and losers series for set 2. This is more of a preliminary look since we are still missing quite a bit of rares, uncommons, and commons, but we are going to move on to green and see what they have so far and give my thoughts currently on them. And yeah, if we can just get a lot of support for that like we did the last video, you guys are always good at it. Let's see if we can bust over 100 likes and past that. Yeah, we're gonna pretty much dive into it. I do want to let you guys know that 2 days from now, tomorrow, 2 days from now, there's going to be an EX Cup happening for Japan. And taking a page from my homie Aspira's book, I might just stream me covering the first day of it if that all lands on Saturday. So if you guys are interested in that, just let me know, and that's gonna be something we live stream. That being said, let's hop over into these cards and talk about it. So first off, we're gonna have to start off with the leader. That is Cell in green, and he is a Awaken at 4 life leader. His effect is interesting. When attacking, draw 1 card and activate main once per turn. If you have 5 energy, add up to 1 card with a cost of 3 or more from your drop to energy. Standard green effect, we've seen that a lot. However, what we are currently looking at here is a effect that cannot be used every turn. It's more of like a couple pivotal moments per game to get you on a good momentum. Sorry guys, I'm still recovering, so I might clear my throat every now and then. So the thing about this is, when I first saw this one, I was like, okay, so you get to use it right when you hit 5, right? So Awakening on curve is very important. You actually probably will use Self-Awakeners in this deck. Then on top of doing that, you also have the ability to use it again. Like I was like, if you can't use this more than once, I personally felt like it was not as good as an effect. We've had some discrepancies. I've talked to some people in the comments about it, but yeah, I personally feel like you need to use this more than once for it to be a good leader. Now, I surmise from this that we'd have a card that would sacrifice your energy to bring you back down to 5, and we did get that in the form of another card we'll be talking about today. But the cool part about this card is that he's got a built-in destructive strength, only at 5 though. So maintaining that amount is going to be something you have to work around, and some of the cards in this set definitely help you towards that, as they should, being his support. But alone, a card like this cannot really be assessed well, if that makes sense. Alone, this card just looks almost subpar because you can use it once if you awaken on time, and then of course it's hard because like right now green doesn't really run Self-Awakeners. This leader should be different, but you can use it once, and then on top of that, without other cards, you can't ever use the effect again. So let's actually dive into some of the effects that really make it set up. So actually right here we've got Cell's SR, right? Is an 8 cost, 45k power, 0 combo power card. On play, place 3 cards from your energy into your drop. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and KO them, then add the top card of your deck to your life. This is huge. This is the payoff. This is, you ramp up to 8, you blow up 2 cards regardless of cost, and then you get to heal 1, and you have a 45k beat stick on the board. A couple things about this card is, just like Broly, because of its power and its cost, it's going to be hard to remove. Right now, blue does not have a way to touch this card. Right now, if it's because it doesn't untap itself after it swings, because it doesn't go back to active, yellow's SCR can counter this card the turn after it hits. That's going to be a huge thing. Red is going to have a little bit of a harder time getting rid of this, but they can already get rid of Broly, so this is no different. The thing about this card is it's not swinging twice like Broly, and it's not drawing. It's giving you a delayed draw by giving you 1 more life, because that's closer from death, and unless that card is hit with critical, it's going to come back to your hand. So this card does a whole lot, and it destroys 2 cards. But the place 3 cards from your energy into your drop is pretty good. You just have to go out of your way to gain that back. This card without setup cannot be played back to back to back, which is what Broly can be. So it really is hard to say whether or not this card could overtake Broly's slot, but there are going to be ways to play this back to back to back, and there's 2 different avenues. One with Lab, I'll get into a future video, and then one involving the next 2 cards. But to close out on this one, I'm just going to say that we are sitting here with a card that has a lot of destruction, but there's more and more destruction protection than ever. So far, blue has a couple cards that cannot be KO'd by effects. That's the Zamasu SR and the Fuse Zamasu SR cannot be destroyed by effects. So this is not hurting them. You also have the Vegeta in yellow that can turn sideways and make sure that all of your other rested cards cannot be destroyed by effects. that gets in the way of this. You also have the Android 17 in red that cannot be destroyed by effects. So you have more and more cards that just give themselves protection, and this card can't break them. And so we're already looking at a weird state of affairs where this card may only just gain you life. It may, and there are some cases where it may really just get rid of 2 cards that your opponent's like, man, I wish I didn't lose those, but it's not gonna break my game, and then give you 2 life, or give you 1 life, and that's a little rough. This is one of the things that green does not have going for it going into this set. So moving on to the next card, we've got Cell Jr., and this is a huge card for this deck. Cell Jr. says if you have a Cell battle card with 8 or more in your battle area, cost 8 or more, you can use this, or you can use and play this card from your hand without paying its cost. On play, add up to 1 extra from your drop to your hand. The thing about this is that when you use Cell, you're going down to 5, right? And because you're going down to, going down to 5 energy, you're going to be able to use your leader effect to go up to 6 with the 1 big untapped. This Cell Jr. can come down and get back your destructive strength. It can, or sorry, not your destructive strength, sorry, your gigantic meteor, or your brother sister twin combination, or yeah, you're able to get back some defensive cards because you're a little weak that turn, and they expect you to have to ramp up over the course of multiple turns. But this card is going to be able to come down and provide 10k combo value if it's not destroyed, while also getting you back something like a gigantic meteor, which you just went to 6 from your leader skill just to have it live. So this card provides a little bit of protection. Now there's some other things you can do with this. People have been talking about some wombo combos to the max where, you know, you could be playing instant Kamehameha and you could literally play Cell Jr., Cell Jr., Cell Jr., get back multiple instant Kamehamehas. Like if you were charging them and you put them in your trash, then you could have a 30k swing with a Cell Jr., a 30k swing with a Cell Jr., a 30k swing with a Cell Jr., provided they use instant Kamehamehas on all 3 of them, and then a 45k swing with your leader. So there's some massive combo closeout power you can have with these, but we're not sure if that's in La La Land or not. In a build like that, you probably be running 5Q because one, he just actually makes some of these plays funnier, but he also is going to be able to synergize well with instant Kamehamehas if you're running a build like that. That being said, you have a lot of weight on running Cell with the playing Cell with the Cell Juniors in hand. The other thing is if you have 5Q on board, you actually miss your leader effect because you immediately go up to 6. So there's a lot of testing that's going to happen with all of set 2, but I feel like Cell is going to have to be a deck that's tested very extensively because on paper it seems like it has some weird points. Like there are some points where I feel like androids may be a better green leader in set 2 than anything else. Broly will still probably have its legs being a 25k, but we'll have to see how Cell plays. But speaking of green and how Cell plays, you've got Son Gohan Future. This is a 5 cost 30k 1,000 or 10,000 combo power card, and he straight up says permanent, all of your battle cards at the cost of 3 can't be removed from the battle area with your opponent's skills, or by your opponent's skills. And then end of turn, choose one, play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand, choose up to one of your or you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards at the cost of 3 or less and KO it. There's a couple things here with this one. One, this card is going to be able to press damage. He's a 30k with a 10k combo value, so he's never dead in hand. He can press the damage with the 30k. Him protecting the lobies is an effect that doesn't really come into play in green. A lot of your 3 costs or less aren't really doing anything. We get a very good card in the Trunks that's coming up next, but this is a card that doesn't do as much as we want it to. Then on the end of the turn though, this is the funny thing, play up to 1 battle card with the cost of 3 or less from your hand, which again, we're going to talk about that Trunks. And then the other one says choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with cost 3 or less and KO it. So in a green deck trying to fight off yellow, this is potentially one of the best 5 drops ever, because if you go into a Vegeta and then you pop one of your 2Ks or 2 costs against yellow or red, and then you attack with your Vegeta on one of them, and then next turn you follow up with a Gohan and you put that 30k body on something, and then on the end of the turn you can just pop something. This is a very good card for protecting yourself from low B aggro. This is just a card that's going to stick and stabilize, and we like that. So I think this card does a lot, and if we ever have a sideboard, I would love to just side this in against low to the ground aggro. I think this is just an excellent card. Another 10k and a way to get guys off the board passively, and a 30k body to swing around. This overall very good value for green. Next, we have Trunks Future. This is the 3 cost in question. This is 20k, 5k power, combo power, and then on play, if you have 5 more energy, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck into your energy and rest mode. Auto once per turn when your battle card with cost 5 or more is removed from the battle area by your opponent. This card gains plus 10k power until the end of your next turn, making me a 30k swinger. The thing about this card is that together they make a very interesting ramp strategy that can allow you to hit Cell twice back to back. So if you led into, like, let's say on your turn 5 you play Gohan, right, and Gohan is able to, like, generally if you're ramping off correctly, the turn you play a 5 you could be going to 7. That's just how that is. If you're going second and you destruct a strength on, you know, 5 or whatever, or destructive strength on like 2 with the marker, you go up to 3. The next turn you go up to 4, and then you play Vegeta to go up to 5. The next turn you charge up to 6, and you play this Gohan. And if you have the Trunks in hand, you play the Trunks in hand, and you ramp up to 7. Your following turn, you're playing 8. You're charging to 8. You can play Cell, blow up 2 things, gain a life, hopefully blow 2 things, and then after that, if you have another Trunks in your hand, you will be able to, the way this is going to go, like if you're playing the Cell leader, you would actually use your leader effect to go back up to 6 from 5. Then at the end of the turn, as long as you have another Trunks in hand, this Gohan, provided he's still there, will play the Trunks, and then you can go up to 7, allowing you to charge to 8 and Cell again the following turn. That's very, very narrow. It requires some setup. This Gohan doesn't have any protection, and so as 30k, Red can get rid of him fairly easily. Blue can bounce him to bottom deck with Final Flash. There's some more stuff now that they have some better setup, but this is going to be, there are ways to get rid of that, but if that setup is there, that can lead to a back-to-back Cell. So with that being said, real quick, I'm going to get a word out for my sponsors, and we'll go right back into the rest of this. So let's talk about the sponsors real quick. First, we got Mystic TCG. They are based in Missouri. They hold lots of their own events, and online or in person, you can pre-order or buy plenty of TCG product. They hold all the hottest games, and Eden actually goes out to quite a lot of events. He buys singles, he buys collections, he sells singles, so realistically you are covered in America as long as you follow Mystic TCG. If you go to a big One Piece event, he'll likely be there, so just check out for that, or just go to the Facebook page and you know, just ask about that. You can also go in the description and see a link to their site using my code to get percentages off discounts of their product. And then if you are in Canada above the border, you can go to G3. They are my other sponsor. They also hold their own events. They also sell product, let you pre-order product. Got a lot of cool people over there. Jawdat runs a tight ship. And yeah, if you're in Canada and you find yourself needing a new place for locals, a new place for TCGs, that is the place to be. Past that, just want to let you guys know, I am growing my own brand. I've got multiple different channels. I've got a Twitch. I will be streaming Kingdom Hearts later tonight, about 9 p.m. Eastern time if you're watching this, but just go ahead, go to my Twitch and check out the schedule so you can get hip too. And with that being said, I think it's time to go back to the content of cards. All right, first off, back into the cards, we've got Android 17 and 18. This card is a house, 4 cost, 20k power, 10k combo power. On play, place 2 cards from your energy into your drop. If your leader's an Android 17, add up to 3 cards with an Android from their special traits, or in their special traits from your drop to your energy. So this card is amazing, not just because of its effect, but also the precedent that it sets. And the precedent it sets is that we will be receiving very strong support for some set 1 leaders. This is a very, very strong card for multiple reasons. This card brings 3 energy back and active, allowing you to extend your plays, and we have some more stuff that we're going to get into later, but for now, just as simple, like let's say you're running the normal ramp package for green, not running lab. There are turns where going second, you could be at 2 energy in the marker, play destructive strength, go up to 3 energy, next turn charge to 4. As long as 2 of your energy that you charged were androids and you have 1 android in drop, you can play this card for 4. Send 3 energy to the drop, or 2 energy to the drop, bring back 3, so you're now going from 4 to 5, and now you have 3 open energy to then play another destructive strength if you got clumped with them in hand, and go up to 6. So you're going from 4 to 5 with this android to 6 with another destructive energy, destructive strength. That's just very strong. This card is just it just opens up so many routes. If you have a 5-drop Goku on board for whatever reason, and you play this card, you're going to be ramping 2 that turn, not 1, because you're going to get 1 from this one, but you're also going to get a card in an energy in rest mode from the top of your deck from Goku, because you just put cards into your drop from your energy. This card is just amazing. It's searchable by Dr. Gero. It's an android, so even if it goes to the trash, it can be used for these other effects. It extends your plays. This is great. And if the set 1 leaders keep getting support like this, whew, this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm happy to see a card like this. Absolute house. Next, we're going to go into Spybot. I am not high on Spy Robot. One costs 5k power, 10k power, or 10k combo power. Activate main once per turn. Choose 3 cards from your opponent's hand and reveal them. This card is asking you to pay for something that playing well should reveal for free. When you look at your opponent's hand, you know, if they have 9 cards in hand, you generally are probably going to be swinging for neutrals. Every now and then you'll let a bigger body, well, you'll let your bigger bodies do the work, and every now and then you might put a little counter or a combo power on there just to kind of press it. But for the most part, you have different lines of play for pressure in terms of power based on how many cards your opponent has in hand. And seeing 3 cards out of a 7-card hand is almost nothing. If you're like, man, Golden Frieza getting played next turn loses me the game, and you play Spybot and you check 3 cards out of a 7-card hand, are you supposed to assume that they don't have Golden Frieza? Absolutely not. They have 4 more cards in hand, 1 card for draw next turn, 1 card for leader swing next turn, and if you deal any damage to them, that's more cards in hand. This card does not give you any valid information unless your opponent only has 3 cards in hand, in which case, 9 times out of 10, unless you just had the extra energy to spend, you could have just attacked correctly and probably sussed out the same information. Yeah, I'm not high on Spybot. That's just me. Let me know in the comments if you feel differently. Next, we have got Sun Gohan Childhood. Sun Gohan Childhood is a little interesting. 6 cost, 35k, 10k power. Permanent, if you have a Sun Goku in your drop, this card gains double strike. And I feel like this is interesting because I still prefer, even though this has 10k combo power, I still prefer most of the times Android 1718's ability to destroy 2 bodies. However, we are seeing less and less of that being able to happen. A Ginyu board that normally Android 17 would be able to destroy 3 bodies off of by destroying 1, 2 by effect, and then swinging on 3rd with a 40k body, won't be able to happen this time, because Vegeta might be sitting and being protected with everything they have in hand because they don't want the rest of their board to go. So, with that being said, maybe this card is the future. Maybe this card being a 10k combo plus having the double strike conditional, but easy to meet conditions, is the way now. Because we may not have a format where Android 1718 can get their destruction off as much as they used to. But that being said, this guy isn't searchable, but he is playable off of Android 16, but therein lies another problem. Android 16 is easy, he was always easy to tap, and yellow has more tap effects than they did before. Red will always fodderize Android 16 on board. Green is the only matchup that it was just like goated in. And yes, blue as well. If you played Android 16 in blue, they could not get over it. But now blue has cost reduction, and so there's a high probability that your Android 16s will not be safe anymore from that as well. So this card may be dead on arrival. Maybe the new double strike staple in green. We have to see. We may just get to a point where if you're playing an Android deck, you run the Androids, but if you're playing a sand-based green deck, you play this guy. We shall see. Then you have Paragus BR. I'm overall not really impressed with this card. It's a 2 cost. 20k for a 2 cost is good, especially with an effect. That's vanilla stats with an effect. 5k combo power, and then when KO'd, if you have 6 more energy, add it to 1 Broly BR from your drop to your hand. That means you have to play this guy generally after you've discarded a Broly BR, put 1 in energy, dropped it off from there. It's a little messy. It's a little messy. And on top of it being a little messy, green and yellow can't really, well, I guess yellow with Cooler can destroy this if Cooler's still in the format well, but essentially red will just minus to 0, circumventing the KO effect. Blue will bounce or tuck this card. Green and yellow can probably just swing around it. If anything, yellow can just keep it tapped all game. So when it comes to this, we really do have a point where this Paragus is almost a non-factor, and if somebody activates its effect, it's because they didn't care about it, and that's just really, really weird. So I don't think this guy's a really good one. Then we have Sensu Bean, and Sensu Bean is interesting. It's a 2 cost. Activate main 3, add the top card of your deck to your life, so that's 5 total to gain a life, or just activate 2, battle, choose one of your leaders, or up to one of your battle cards against plus 5k for the turn. I don't like this card to a high degree, simply because I don't think a lot of green decks have the curve to play it. If you play green already in set 1, just think about how many turns you're either tapped out or you only have 1 up. To have 2 up for this card, you had to skip ramp for the turn, and that's really, really dangerous in those formative turns. You need to get up to your higher energy. Now, that being said, I think this is not the same case for Android 17, because the turn you play Android 17 and 18 that we just went over earlier is a turn where you will have the energy up. You ramp and you have the energy up for Sensu Beam. So this may again cement Android 17 is the best green leader going into set 2, but that's a talk for another time. So with all these cards being spoiled, let's go over and just talk about how we feel about green in general. So with all that being said, I am not going to hold you. I think that right now, green got a lot of cool cards, but none of them are doing more than what green has already done. I think they're around the same power level. I think they're doing what green did before in different ways. Cell Jr. is neat. Sensu Bean is cool, but green's curve is a little tight. Android 17 and 18, excellent card, but like the Gohan is kind of like an alternative. You could play 6-drop life gain, 6-drop double strike, androids, they fit in the same slot. Cell, great card. Is he better than Broly at this point? I don't know. Broly draws and attacks twice. Cell Leader, don't necessarily think it's better than 17, 18, or 17 Gohan or Broly. We have to see. Cell Jr., very cute. Gohan, future Gohan and future Trunks, very cool cards, but instead of taking cards off the top of your deck or from your trash, Gohan has to bring a Trunks from your hand to ramp. So you have a lot of different cards that aren't power creeping green, which is fine. I don't think green needed power creep. I think green needed more consistency, but I don't think green needed more power. Its power is already, it was already warping in set 1. More consistency would be good, but other decks needed more power to catch up. So when it comes to this, I'm just gonna put a little shocking thing out there for most people. I think green is number 4. I think green is the biggest loser of set 2 so far. Every other color seems to be going up the scale with power, and green is just kind of getting different options to do what it already does, but we will see. But that is my thoughts on green. I think that other colors are closing the gap, and I'm really ready for that. And also when it comes to this is the last part I want to do for this video. As per usual, I just want to give a special shout out to the Patreon members. We have a lot of people in here that have just done the most to help support me, and I very much so appreciate that. So first, we're going to give a shout out to the Realm of Xers, the Big Daddy Flapjacks, the Burars, the Bryce R's, the Kevin I's, the Mario V's, and the Mr. Top Decks, followed by the Uni X Aristocrats, which are going to be Eric R's, the Exilions, the Jonathan B's, and the, yeah, those are it. I almost had one more name, but they actually upgraded to a Realm of X. So thank you guys for that. If you guys want to catch me playing Kingdom Hearts later today, if you're watching this today, it comes out, I'll be doing that on my Twitch and my second channel. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate what you guys do and support for the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video, article, social media post, whatever.